Hi, this is Richard Horvitz.
This is Morgana Ignis.
This is Edward Bosco, and you're listening to...
This is Vivian Williams, and you're listening to...
All right, love, this is Georgie Leahy, and...
Oh, shamalama ding dong, it's Brandon Rogers, and you're watching that Nerd Network News.
Welcome into Nerd Network News, everyone, and today we have a hell of a guest interview panel. Introducing the wonderful cast.
Hi, I'm Vivian Williams. I play Millie.
Richard Horvitz, I play Moxxie.
Bryce Pinkham.
I play Stolas.
Brandon Rogers, I play Blitz, and the O is silent.
Morgana Ignis, and I play Sallie Mae.
Georgie Leahy, and I play Stella!
Edward Bosco, and I play Striker.
All right, and how is everyone doing today?
Great! 1, 2, 3. Great!
That is wonderful. All right, cast members, it is such a delight to be able to meet you all, and I know that Minnesota has been dying to see the Helluva cast. Oh. We have such a crazy fan base for you. Can any of you tell us about your journey getting to your voice acting roles or working in independent filming?
To our voice acting roles or to our journey to Minnesota? Because
They're very different, and one's shorter than the other, yeah.
Gotcha. Whichever you prefer. Let's talk about voice acting, some of the fun parts about voice acting, or maybe if you want to share something that was just a bit of a struggle.
Yes, getting us all together in this room was a bit of a struggle. That was a struggle.
you can't see right now, outside these doors are millions of fans waiting for us outside.
They're going to swarm us as soon as we open the door.
Oh, God.
It's a madhouse out there.
Why don't we start with Vivian Williams?
Vivian Williams. Okay.
Nice slate. That's a good slate.
Thank you. Vivian Williams, CESD. I started my career as a dancer, as an actor on stage, in film and in television, and then I took a break, and I was missing performing, but I didn't necessarily want to be on camera or seen, and I also didn't want to be typecast. And so I ran into a dear friend and I said, listen, my creative juices are dying. I want to perform again. Please tell me about this voice acting thing. How could I pursue this? And so she gave me some advice. I took a class with a working professional, amazing director, Charlie Adler. He gave me advice about putting a reel together. He told me to he said stuff like, get your pussy wet and let you, and he does, wiggle it out, relax, play pretend. He's amazing.
He curses like a sailor, that's true.
He does. He's fantastic.
Richard, why don't you ever give us that kind of direction?
Because he'd be sued.
But I mean,
Richard has not once told me to get my pussy wet.
No, but it's about, relax, play pretend, have fun.
Yeah.
And so I got into this world where I could be anything that I want to be, and you can play anything you want to. Come on! Woo! A little hard work, and you don't know the song?
Okay.
Finding Neverland? Okay,
Here comes Pete.
Yeah.
Hopping down the bunny trail. Hippity, hoppity.
So long story short, I put my reel together, I submitted to an agency, and I started auditioning, and it's been a magical journey thus far.
Yay!
Yay, Vivian.
For those of you who can't see Vivian, she looks stunning today.
Yes.
Fashion model, every one of these cons.
Yes.
Every time.
And you can't see me either, but I'm stunning.
Yes, you are.
That's why we always on camera. It'll
Yes,
break.
thank you.
Too expensive.
I play Moxxie, and I'm also the voice director on the show. And the way I got to this world is I was born in Los Angeles.
We'll be back
California,
in 10
yeah.
Go to commercial.
I started as an on-camera actor as a kid, many months ago, and I started in musical theater, and that's always what I have always loved and thought that's where I was going. But I started doing TV and film on-camera stuff and a lot of teen films in the 80s. And then around 89, I switched my career trajectory to voiceover, and that was like an ugly duckling coming home to roost because that is just where I fit in and things went really well. And then I started doing a lot of shows like Power Rangers and Invader Zim and Billy and Mandy. And then my journey to these crazy folks was that I always knew that people watching my show when they were growing up would someday be in positions to want to work with me, and that was Vivian Medrano, of which we owe a whole lot to Vivzy Pop. And Vivian contacted me and my agent, and when I spoke to me and my agent, not I, and when she told me her vision, and I heard that it was musical theater oriented in so many ways, I said I'm in. And so now I am lucky enough to be on Helluva Boss, and I get to direct both Helluva Boss and Has Been. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. And now, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of all creeds, races, colors, and stuff, please welcome the amazing Bryce Pinkham!
Thank you, Richard, and thank you, all stuff people.
Stuff people.
My journey to this show is from the musical theater angle. I'm a Broadway performer and have done some Broadway musicals, and Viv had seen me in one or two of those and wrote to me actually asking if I would audition for the show, and always wanted to get into animation and voiceover, and it was a perfect opportunity, and I auditioned in the middle of the pandemic, and next thing I knew I was recording season 1 in a friend's garage. So
Really?
yeah,
Nice.
yeah,
Awesome.
And that it's been an incredibly eye-opening experience, and a world that I never thought I'd get to be a part of, and I just love being embraced by the fandom and fellow collaborators here, and Vivzy as well. So I'm just happy to be a part of it.
Okay, hi.
Just don't shout.
That will be a
Don't shout. Okay, you have to tell me to not shout. So yeah, I also began as a dancer and grew up in the theatre and on stage, and then got my degree in musical theatre, and then couldn't get a job in musical theatre. No one cast me in anything on the West End. So then I started learning lots of random skills, and I started breathing fire, and I had a pet snake, and I just became this kind of circus freak. And I started traveling the world doing that, which I absolutely loved, until I got itchy after a little bit of a stint doing rock and roll. And then I was like, oh, I want to check out LA. I've always dreamed of Hollywood, but like I'd never even bloody been to Hollywood, so I'm like, how can I dream of a place that I've never been to? So I went, and then I just fell in love with LA, and I'm still here 12 years later. And luckily I moved to Hollywood at the exact same time as Brandon Rogers moved to Hollywood, and then our eyes locked on a very random job that got put on the cutting room floor. But luckily we fell in love and been doing so many amazing comedy things, and then suddenly a few years ago I got told I have a face for radio, and now I've become I'm now cast in Helluva Boss, and I'm constantly in awe of all of you amazing talented humans, and I'm still in shock that I'm here with you guys. So yeah. I'm nothing like Stella.
I was just gonna say it.
Who's all of her aggression out there?
You're good at acting.
Pure
Oh
sunshine.
my god, I am, right? Thank you.
But yeah, I've been all over the place with entertainment since I was like 16. I started on stage performing with rock bands as various like theatrical characters on stage in wild costumes. From there, due to like doing some stop motion animation on my own, I then got into animation as a stop motion animator. Hit it off the writers from one of my shows, and then started writing for like Adult Swim and Nickelodeon and like those different things. And I was like about like 18 or 19, something like that. And that was before I went back to school and realized like the things I liked most about the writing and the animating stuff was the acting side. So I started on that side first, went into acting, really fell in love with the character acting stuff. Spent years on stage performing as like different weird eccentric characters on stage, and then started getting cast a lot in horror and sci-fi films as inhuman characters. So Sallie is the most personable and sexy of the demons, unless you're into that sort of thing, in which case that might be arguable. But most of the characters I played before joining on to Helluva Boss were the lead murderous villains in horror and sci-fi films. So luckily for this project, I don't have to be in a makeup chair for 7 hours before I have to enter the vocal booth. But yeah, I met Viv through a lot of mutual friends in the animation world, and we bonded over a bunch of different like horror comedy things that I was in. I was on a show called Stand Against Evil for years on IFC with my friend Dana Gould's show, and she really loved that work, and she's like, I know I want you in the show, but I don't know what it's going to be yet. And after venting to her about how most of the trans character roles I would have across my table completely sucked, she's like, let's come up with a better one for you that doesn't suck. And she delivered me this idea for Millie's sister, Sallie Mae, and was just like, yeah, if you want this role, come in. She has a southern accent. We record tomorrow. Let's figure it out. And when I recorded it, it was a very, very small bit to start with. She said, she's only in it a little bit right now, but she's going to be playing a bigger role later on. I'm like, oh, this is a lot of fun. I hope I get 1 or 2 pieces of fan art. And it turned into thousands within like the next couple months, and thankfully she has a lot more coming up. But enough fans have fallen in love with her and have loved the representation she's offered and have like created their own sort of lore around her that kept me active traveling with all these people over this time. And then, the sort of dynamic we have as a group at conventions and on panels has almost turned this cast into the weirdest comedy troupe that I've managed to be a part of. It's a wonderful collective of energy here.
Love that. That is so awesome. Oh my gosh. You guys have the best stories. I love this. It's such a community thing. We are doing an interview.
We have a special guest. Special guest?
Special guest?
Does someone need to come in?
So what's happening is there's someone outside the door right now, and they're trying to get in. We got
It was Dawn Bennett. Dawn Bennett.
This is also unplanned. This is all planned.
It's all part of the plan.
Yeah. Oh well.
Oh my gosh, that's so great. All right.
I guess I'll attempt to get us back on track. So I completely fell into this. I don't have the cool origin story of being on stage. I was originally a broadcast journalist in Chicago. I wanted to do like sports play-by-play, but I didn't want to leave Chicago. And so while I was doing that, there was this show that had just come out, and I'm about to date myself, called Red vs. Blue. And I thought, that's a really cool show. I want to be in that. I don't know what that is. I don't know how to do that. So let me just like try to contact Rooster Teeth and figure it out. Never heard back. But I found message boards where I was able to audition for stuff on like Newgrounds, again, dating myself. And I worked on some indie animations, and that's where I first ran into Viv, is she was casting for her, I think it was her junior thesis project called Son of 666, and I played the devil in that. So that's how I connected with Viv. I then went to LA to intern at Nickelodeon, and I worked in their casting department for a couple of months. And that was really eye-opening. And then in 2012, I'm like, let me move to LA and just give this a shot. So 2 suitcases and no money, I went out there. I became a mascot while I was working out there as Scooby-Doo. And I slowly got more roles. My first thing was in Dust and Elysian Tale, which was on the Xbox. I played Ara. And I was like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. And then there was this little show that I ended up seeing Viv post about called Has Been Hotel that she was doing a pilot for. And I was like, yeah, I'll give that a shot. And I ended up working on the pilot as Alistair. And then with Helluva Boss, when Norman Reedus wasn't coming back for season 2, I auditioned for the role of Stryker. And I'm like, well, here's a Hail Mary. And I booked it. And that's how I got into Helluva. And now this is the first time I've been with this amazing cast. And I just feel so honored to have been all over the Helluvaverse and doing a whole bunch of stuff, and to be directed by Richard and be with these talented, amazing singers and comedic geniuses like Brandon. And I'm just trying to hold up my end of the bargain.
You're doing well.
I love that.
Going from working radio to
so
working as a
doing
cowboy.
well.
I was going to say, I went from radio to the radio demon to a cowboy.
Yeah.
Natural progression.
Exactly. You know how you do. Total career path.
Fantastic. Fist bump for the OG radio
Thank you.
demon.
Right? Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, Brandon.
I started out as a YouTuber. I've been YouTubing half my life now. Do you believe that?
Yes.
You shouldn't.
Yeah.
You're 100?
I'm still 17. I've only been doing YouTube for like 6 years.
Yeah.
I'm
That's problematic.
Yeah, I know. Especially with you, Bosco. So, I was doing YouTube, and I spent 10 years unsuccessfully doing YouTube. I wanted to be a big YouTuber, and then finally, one day I moved to LA, and then that's where, shortly after meeting Georgie, she was the lucky charm, because the channel blew up, and I was like officially a YouTuber, professionally, full-time, and then that's when Viv found me. She saw this show that I did called Blame the Hero that I wrote and directed, and she was like, oh, this, you can write and act and do this. And so she presented me the cast. She had a poster for Helluva Boss, and she said, this is a show I want to do. She had 3 shows actually. It's Helluva Boss and 2 others. She's like, which one do you like the most of these concepts? And I'm like, well, the Helluva Boss one, I don't remember what the other 2 were, but this is a workplace comedy that has violence and music. And I was like, oh, I like that. And then she was like, and can you guess which character you're gonna play? And she had a little spread of all the characters drawn out. And I was like, I looked at Moxxie, I go, oh, is that my character? Now you're the little tall, stickly one over there which I like it. He's the boss. I didn't know he was the boss at first. So I'm like, oh, if he's the title, I've never been that before.
Yeah.
It was my first voice acting job, which, by the way, Richard calls it a VO. Is that Richard Horvitz voiceover?
Yes.
Yeah. What about voice acting? I've been saying VA.
You can say either.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, you're a voice artist, voiceover, voice
artist.
actor, voice oh yeah.
And a voice oh yeah.
I'm a voice oh yeah.
I consider myself a voiceteer.
A voiceteer.
Walking into this, Richard had every right to make me feel like a noob because I'd never done this, and I'm working with one of the most prolific and successful VAs, artists in the industry, and
please call me VO.
And he just like lifted us all up. We all feel like mega superstars when we're in there.
You are mega superstars.
You're a mega superstar, and I've never felt like I felt like a noob when I was walking into the studio, and as soon as I got in there, everyone just disarmed me, and I felt very like I'm at home, like this is my ugly duck roosting hole.
Why were you carrying guns into the studio?
Because I heard you were going to be there.
Right.
Billy and
you know
Mandy
how long it took me to disarm you?
The one in my underwear was
video of this? Because I didn't see it.
Yeah. Wait a minute, you told me about the one in your underwear. You said, oh, don't forget the one in my
only
underwear.
One I have.
I promise it's there.
I promise.
Just keep looking.
And that's my career.
There you go.
I had the same almost pants shitting experience because I knew Richard was in the show and I was really stoked about that. But we recorded everything like it was during COVID, so we were all like separate, isolated. No one was in the recording room. It was all remote and everything. And I remember going into the room, like being let in remotely, and I enter the room and there's just a TV screen right there. And the Zoom starts up, and it just says, Richard Horvitz is joining chat. And I'm like, fuck! I'm just like,
Lies!
I'm being directed by Zim. Great. On my first voice acting gig.
Who are you?
Who are you? You didn't tell me we were going to have a voice director, so when he popped in the call, I was like, oh, I'm in trouble. But he was so welcoming. He was like, look, Ed, just calm down. We're going to get your pussy wet. It's going to be great. And it was true. We had a great time.
We did. We all had a great time.
Yeah. No, I literally thought it was going to be Viv. I thought it was going to be Viv. It was the best experience. I walked out of there with the biggest smile on my face after recording with Richard. It was such a joy. But yeah, I completely taken off hard.
Yes.
You know what? Viv and I, Viv took my voiceover class. You know, I think, was it before the pilot or after the pilot? I can't remember. It was before or after, but when Viv saw my like belief in my like
how amazing you are.
No.
Just say it.
Just say it.
Viv saw my technique about how I direct and work. I said, say again, Chris?
Process.
My process. That was it.
Oh, there you go.
There you go. My process. Yes, thank you. That's my wife, everyone. Say hello to Kristen.
Hi, Kristen. We love you.
Interject.
But she does.
Welcome.
It's like when we go to a restaurant. We're at a restaurant. I'll go. I'll have the. No, you don't like that. Oh, right. I don't.
Richard, you're definitely allergic to 3 of the things you
Yes,
ordered.
exactly. 3 of the
Your
things.
forever handler.
My forever handler. So Viv, I said, Viv, I would love to direct the show. And she said, yes. And that's how I did it. And, I'm fortunate that that Viv lets me come along for the ride,
Yeah, she's super receptive to ideas, too.
Yeah.
For a creator of such an elaborate, specific universe, like, when we like, can we try this line, or can we, like, even as a writer, I'll be like, how do you feel if this happens?
Oh,
she's
yeah.
very like, oh, yeah. She's more yes than no, and very much loves to. It's like throwing more wood on a fire whenever we create stuff with her, especially in the booth. Like, I'll go off the rails all the time. If you look at one of the original scripts of an episode, my lines almost hardly match the original what's on there. And I wrote the fucking things. But it's fun, even to improvise even on your own dialogue that you wrote. And it's just a very collaborative space, and they're fostered by both Vivian and Richard heavily. You can't hear them laugh after you do a take because they have to keep it silent. So inherently it feels like you weren't funny. But if you look through the glass, they're dying, they're peeing their pants, it's all silent. You're like, okay, good, I like that one. All right, good.
We're peeing our pants even when people aren't recording. It's just our
there's no bathroom.
It's just our thing. You gotta use the. I gotta go to the bathroom. I go, okay, well, do we have to use the bathroom? And Viv's like, no, you can just go right here.
We're making Helluva Boss.
She's right here.
Yeah.
She's very open.
Right.
Yeah, we don't have time. She's very open.
That's the beauty of indie.
The beauty of indie.
All right, guys, I'm going to throw another question at you. So for some of you, it'll be worded as, what do you look for when you're choosing a role to voice? And for those where it applies, what do you look for, or what is some of the factors when you're creating your character?
Money.
Yeah, money.
But honestly, at this point, do I think it's going to be fun? I mean, that's more than anything else. It's like, there's roles that have come across the table that I'm like, is it going to be fun, and is it going to challenge me as an actor in a way that I haven't been challenged before? Because at a certain point, especially with the creature stuff, which is why I don't do it much anymore, is that I kept getting scripts across my table where I'm like, I can do this, and I would really impress people if I did this role, but it doesn't look fun, and it's not going to be challenging at all to do this. It's going to be the same sort of bag of tricks to pull out of. And now, I'm thankful that it's like I have other things bringing in income, so it's not like I have to do this job just for the paycheck and everything.
Well, to piggyback off what Morgana was just saying, I have a rule in my what I teach. It's my step 3, which Dawn knows. I see Dawn over there. Hi, Dawn. It's step 3 in the way I teach is have fun, and it seems that it's a whole thing. But my rule with having fun with jobs is that I have 2 rules. I can't resent the money, and I have to be able to have fun. So you could have all the money in the world, but I don't like the project. It's not fun, as Morgana was saying, or for whatever reason, I just don't. I'll gladly say thank you, but no thank you. For example, I am a horrible voice matcher, and I hate it. And the way I learned it is that years ago, I was hired to do the temp tracks for John Leguizamo for Ice Age. And you would have thought from the get-go, from the audition, that I was the foremost John Leguizamo impersonator, right? But when I got to the studio and they had the animatic up there and I was doing it, from take 1, that's not how John does it. Do it again. That doesn't sound like John. Do it again for 4 hours, and like the adrenaline is dripping down my back, and I went out and I called my agents and I said, I understand that voice matching is a very lucrative part of the industry. I'm not good at it. There's people that are way better than me. Eric Bauza, Jim Cummings, Bill Farmer, Bob Bergen. They can do it. I just want to create characters that someday, hopefully after I've died, people will have to replace me because I want to create original characters because if I'm trying to voice match, all my mind is thinking is do I sound like someone else? And it's hard for me to disappear into a secondary reality that way. So that's that side of it. It has to be fun. But likewise, you may not have a lot of money, but I believe in your vision, I believe in your story, and that's what I choose. Is like if it's a great story, that's why I jump on board.
Love it.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things that people misunderstand about the business is we don't really choose our roles most of the time. We audition for it like everybody else. There are the occasional things where somebody will ask, hey, do you want to do this? And that's awesome. But most of the time we're on the 9 to 5 grind just saying, hey, here's my interpretation of this particular character. I'm gonna throw it against the wall. Maybe you like it, maybe you don't. And maybe 5 to 10% on a really good ratio do you book what you read for. So we're just grateful anytime that we're able to get in the booth and play, because a lot of it is, like Richard said, creating characters and seeing, hey, this is what I would do if you give me the opportunity. And that's not always the same vision as the director or the producer or whoever. And there's a whole process. So all of the stuff you hear in Has Been and Helluva, for the most part, that was just us giving our interpretations of those characters and going, this is what we would do. What do you think?
Yeah. Yes, and I just love to work. I'm a workaholic, so I kind of I'm a yes woman. So if you want me to do something, most of the time I'm going to find a reason why I want to do it, because I just love performing, and like Brandon knows that I don't say no to, like he'll call me up and he's like, can you do this? I say yes before he's told me, because he knows I'm going to do every silly thing he makes me do, like running around these halls last night.
As the hotel security staff can attest to.
Yeah.
Don't worry, we said it's for YouTube, it's fine.
We tried finding you, but we couldn't.
Kristen and I came up the elevator, and we're standing there, and they don't know that we're watching them. And we're just like the parents.
Oh my God!
What are these kids doing when we're out?
It took me far too long
But
to
I'm
realize.
also peeking my head out of my hotel room, and I was like, why is everyone so loud? And I just see Brandon, Morgana.
We're in our underwear. We were dressed as British people. We're just like
we were very
in
British.
our
Hold on, I
underwear.
think that's exclusively British.
It was very British.
It was very British. A tan?
We were trying to get a tan.
You don't need a tan, sweetheart.
That's what British
I think you're
people do.
good.
This is only because I drink so much coffee.
night at an indoor pool.
Yeah. It's very British.
I want to just piggyback on something someone said about, I forget, but 4 hours shoot, 4 hour recording sessions, that's how long we go for. And I come from the world of camera where it's 12 hours or 8 hours, right? And because in film it's hurry up and wait. Get in costume, wait a couple hours until your scene's ready. In voice acting, you get in there and you have to be at a 10 for because you're not waiting for other actors. You're the only actor. So you're just doing your stuff compact, condensed, like. And I told Richard one day, I said, you know what, Richard? I got 2 shoots coming up. I think we'll just combine them. I'll do an 8-hour shoot. And I felt so like, it makes more sense, right? And Richard was just, I don't know if you want to do more than 4 hours. And every time we're in the studio, we get to like hour 3, and you can kind of start to feel it a little bit. In your throat. Because none of my voice, Blitz doesn't go, oh, well, I gotta go get some coffee. No, it's I gotta get some coffee. And when you're talking up here like this, you know, it starts to, you can even hear it now all weekend. I've been doing Blitz, and my voice is starting to be a little fucked.
Yeah.
It's a high energy for people who aren't in voice acting. It's very high energy, and it's very condensed, and you're just in there being this 10 for like 4 fucking hours, singing or whatever. You know, we all have different things that Viv forces us to do. So.
The ones that are forced. The ones that are forced.
We're so forced. We're dragged in with chains.
Oh wow. Bryce,
Yeah, I think of it in this way. You can usually when a job comes in, you can get a couple things. You can feed my family, feed my soul, or feed my career. And if I can get 2 out of those 3 things, I usually say yes. And if I can get 3 out of those 3 things, then I hit the jackpot.
Wait, so then if we pay you in food, we're good?
Oh, you're
You want to pay groceries for a family of 4?
Yeah,
absolutely. You can. Yeah, that's literally what you're doing. So, and if it's only one of those things, then you really got to think about it. Because if you're just doing it to feed your family, then great, but that runs out after a while. You're just somebody who makes money, and you don't get fed in other ways by that. If you're just doing it for your artistic soul, then you might not have enough to feed your family. And if you're just doing it for your career, then eventually that's going to run out too. So finding a balance of those 3 things is always what helps me choose the next thing. It's like, well, I just did the job that fed my family. Now I want to make my own thing that pays me nothing, but that makes me feel like an artist. So balancing those 3 things, and I didn't invent that. That's somebody, I've heard that before. But it's a way I think about, okay, what am I doing next, and what's it for?
I love that.
That's really good.
Yeah.
It's not mine, it's yours.
Y'all left no stone unturned. I mean,
I know.
What can we say? We like long walks on the beach together. What do we do? No, we don't.
Oh yeah.
Well, that's the thing.
Naked walks on the beach.
It's kind of as Bryce was just saying. I mean, there are so many jobs that somebody can get in the world for a paycheck. So if acting just becomes a paycheck, then it's like, wow, I wasted a lot of time getting into an industry that's really hard to get into to just do it for the money.
Yeah, we didn't know what we were getting into when we signed up, because we didn't know this show was going to be this size.
No.
We were like, okay, let's see where this goes. Anyone who joins the show here on out, we know what they're in it for the money.
Yeah, well, yeah,
but,
exactly. And I've learned that we can cut all of your pay because you're having so much fun.
No.
Right?
Never said having fun.
That was just Bryce.
Never said it was having fun. Actually, I'm not having fun. I'm actively not having fun.
Don't give me his time.
It's not feeding his soul, it's just a family.
That's right.
Bryce did say enough money to feed his family. He said nothing about himself. So he's feeding a family of 3.
We have to make a pact right now. None of us can tell Vivian that we are enjoying this.
Just don't show
Never
this
once.
interview.
Here's the thing. I know, like, Viv right now, she's in New York working on has-been stuff, but I see that she's watching. She is watching all of the
She's
stories
always
and liking
watching.
everything that we
She's
do.
always watching.
Like she watches. I know for her, she gets this extra amount of joy that not only did she cast the project with voices she likes, but with people she likes hanging out with, and she gets to send off into the world representing her shows in like this extremely chaotic, fun, energetic way that she's like, I would wish I was there, but you guys are doing fine.
She
just
knows,
in
yeah,
different
we're
areas
chipped.
of the country.
We're chipped.
She knows what she can hear.
I can see it on your shoulder. Not there.
Oh, wait a second.
She's put a zap collar on me. So if I'm letting everyone get out of control, it's like, no, we love the show. It's great. We love the money. We love the food.
Yeah.
And we love Bryce's kids.
Yes, we do.
We like going to Viv's house every week for the required 3 hours of petting her cats that we all have contractually.
I would do that.
Yeah, it's great.
Okay.
That is
Don't say for
great.
free.
Okay.
All right, now the fun question for Nerd Network News. Let's talk nerdy hobbies and passions. What are your favorite nerdy things?
Oh god,
Where do we start?
Yeah, I will say for me, so I personally love these conventions because before I was involved in any of this shit, I went to like 12 of these a year. I was like a big cosplayer before this. I still try to cosplay at the conventions when I have the energy to do it. But I end up spending a lot of the money I make just walking around the conventions and buying shit I do not need. So, one of my favorite things that I've experienced at this is being a longtime cosplayer myself. Seeing people now cosplay a character that I've voiced is like the full circle. So, as far as nerd shit goes, like anime conventions, I'd probably be here anyway. So I'm glad that no matter what, I come back with money instead of come back with far less.
Yes.
Yes.
I love Our Planet and David Attenborough.
I heard I love that, and I heard Keith David on the Bible on History Channel last night. Yeah, he's the narrator.
Is he?
Yeah, I'm with Viv. I'm a TV fanatic. I watch TV nonstop. I love classic TV, Get Smart, HR Puff and stuff like that. Get Smart. Did I say Get Smart?
Yeah.
And musical theater, I'm a sucker for, and I love to sing musical theater constantly, as any of these people will tell you.
Yeah.
I'm nerding right now. I'm nerding out in the garden. I'm trying to get my garden going for spring. So trying to plant some food for my family. There it is. Yep. All right, kids.
Make a note. Hey Bryce and fertilizer. We got you some fertilizer, Bryce.
Hunter-gatherer maxing for
Yeah. I just want chickens. That's
Hunter gather daddy.
Oh my gosh. My mom probably has a few spare chickens.
Okay, well, we'll take it in Jersey.
Alive. What is yours?
Oh my, well, that's why I'm not breeding, because I'm not going to feed my family.
Oh no, I barely feed myself.
That's true, you don't.
I know.
Nerding out, like Studio Ghibli, I get very excited.
Nice.
Although I was disappointed in the latest movie. Should I not say that on camera?
Miyazaki is watching.
Miyazaki, I'm sorry.
You're never going to be in a Miyazaki film now.
Oh, actually, no. The last thing I really geeked out on was Kung Fu Panda. I was so excited about the new Kung Fu Panda coming out, and I was disappointed about that one too. I think when I get too excited about something, I don't know. With Kung Fu Panda 4, there was too much kung fu and not enough panda. You know, it was just a lot of action sequence and stuff, and I was like, I missed the heart of Panda, so I was a bit upset about
More
that.
Jack Black eating noodles.
Yeah, exactly. They needed more of that, for sure. But yeah, and most of the time, I'm just being taught nerdy stuff that I don't know by my mother.
I'm a
I am taking you under wing to teach you all about anime bullshit.
She loves making me look stupid in front of fans.
I'm a D&D widower because Kristen is a D&D fanatic. She plays every week. She goes away on like holiday with her friends. It's an all women D&D group called the Shenanigans.
That is so awesome. That sounds like fun.
So I'm going to piggyback on that because I'm also a huge D&D player because I play it every Wednesday. And I do a stream of Baldur's Gate every other Saturday, so I am huge into Dungeons & Dragons. And one of the ideas that I pitched, which I will spew into fruition eventually, I want to run a D&D one-shot for the Helluva cast.
Oh yeah! I want to do that.
Or has been, or I'll cross them over.
Well, why don't you?
I don't care.
Honestly, like the thing is, between the two casts, I think you'll definitely find people in each one that are like hardcore. I play D&D as well.
But I want the people I want Richard who doesn't play to be in it.
Yeah.
The newbies are the most fun.
Kristen tried to DM one that I'm
practicing, and his character is a paladin with syphilis.
I gave myself.
I already love the idea. I'm in.
I gave myself.
The movie was great. The D&D movie was amazing.
Really well done.
Yeah, I love that.
I got to. It's fun taking people through their first time, especially people who have an improv background and just like start to realize that D&D is a game of improv. I taught James Urbaniak how to play D&D, and like him having his first time, like he's another like amazing voice actor. Like he had no idea what the fuck was going on. And then eventually, when he realized that the DM is really the only person who needs to know like the actual technical rules, and then all you have to do is tell like an improv story with a character you created, it becomes a lot of fun.
People are intimidated by the math, and it's
the
really
math.
not
I was
that
just gonna say
it's not as bad as you
that.
think. And now when you play online, it does
math.
the math for you. So
does it?
Okay.
All right. You know what I'm a nerd about is this show. It's a mockumentary. It's called Class Acts.
Yeah.
And I say that because I have no life other than what I produce. This is my. Excuse me. Oh hi. Yes. I'm being told we gotta wrap it up.
Yeah.
No. But Class Acts is a damn good show. It has and it's on YouTube. Hey, it gets no cheaper than free. Watch it on YouTube. Half the season is out, baby.
Yes, I want to thank everyone for being here today and talking nerdy with us. Thank you so much.
Before you guys go, I gotta hand out some ducks.
Christopher Ducks.
Here we go.